We have some breaking news to deliver right now for you, according to a statement from the Rick Jackson campaign for governor and a federal court document just obtained in the 11 Alive newsroom. A federal judge has just granted from the bench a temporary restraining order that will prohibit, at least for now, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, who is also a Republican candidate for governor, from using his leadership committee funds in his ongoing campaign for governor. I want to read you a few statements, and then we're going to give you some background on how we got here and what this all means. I'm going to start with this. This is the note from Rick Jackson's campaign team saying today, we're going to read their quote here. This is from Dave Abrams, a spokesman from Rick Jackson. Quote, "A federal court today made clear that Burt Jones doesn't get his own rule book. Burt's already used his office to enrich his family, so it won't be a surprise if he tries to use it to cling to power. If he pushes a new law to try to save himself, that's blatant abuse of power, and Georgians will hold him accountable." That statement continues. Burt Jones's campaign quickly responding with a campaign statement of their own from spokesperson Kayla Lott saying this, quote, "We're not surprised. Rick Jackson is taking a page from Stacey Abrams' playbook using lawfare to target President Trump's endorsed candidate for governor. Georgia Republicans have already rejected that strategy, and they will reject it again." According to minutes of the court proceeding today in federal court that the 11 Alive newsroom has obtained, the judge in this case, federal district judge Thomas Thrash, issued the temporary restraining order in response to a motion from Rick Jackson seeking the court, asking the court to block Burt Jones's ability to use his leadership committee. So you might be asking, what is a leadership committee? It is a special kind of fundraising vehicle available to only some of Georgia's politicians, including the governor, the lieutenant governor, and some other legislative leaders. In this governor's race, that includes Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, Attorney General Chris Carr, and now the latest entrant, Rick Jackson. Only Burt Jones, the lieutenant governor, has access to those leadership committee funds, and the leadership committee allows candidates to raise unlimited amounts of money. Chris Carr and Brad Raffensperger had both previously tried to block Burt Jones's ability to use the leadership committee. Federal judges did not agree with both of their efforts to block it. But today, on a third attempt by one of these candidates, this one coming from Rick Jackson, a federal judge has granted a temporary restraining order blocking Burt Jones's ability to use leadership committee funds. And according to a release from the Jackson campaign, this TRO, the temporary restraining order, will prohibit the leadership committee from spending further money and will require it to cancel reserved media buys. This again is according to the campaign of Rick Jackson. You heard Burt Jones's response. As we understand it, that decision was announced from the bench today, and a written order will be issued in the coming days. But according to court documents we have obtained, that TRO has indeed been granted. You can expect much more litigation on this in the coming days and weeks, and you can expect a great deal of focus on it from all of these campaigns, because we are only a few months away from primary day in this increasingly heated GOP race to become Georgia's next governor. And first, to do that, one of them has to get the Republican nomination to move on to the general election. Rick Jackson, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones, Attorney General Chris Carr, and Secretary of State Brad Raffensperger, all seeking that nomination. And now the fundraising game and the fund spending game has been altered by a temporary restraining order granted today by a federal district judge here in Atlanta.